Chelsea just got smarter, and that's bad news for the Premier League. And look, I know what you're thinking. Chelsea? Smart? The club that spent £1 billion on vibes and fired 6 managers in 3 years? Yeah, we've heard the jokes, but this time they are onto something. Xabi Alonso's Chelsea isn't a feel-good story, it's a warning, one that will be a problem for every team in England. There's something people forget about Chelsea when they finished 10th last season. Enzo Maresca built something real. The kids were developing. Estevao was scoring in the Champions League at 19. Cole Palmer still brought stability, albeit an injury-hit season. They won the Club World Cup. For all the jokes, Chelsea were actually moving in the right direction. But Maresca fell out with the hierarchy. He wanted out after hearing he had an opening to be Pep Guardiola's successor. And just like that, without warning to the fans, he walked. That hurt Chelsea, not because they lost a world-class manager, but because they lost momentum. A young squad finally clicking, finally understanding what they were supposed to do, and now the man who built it was gone. So what do you do when you lose the coach who was making it work? You go out and get someone better. Chelsea's managerial appointments often miss, but this time they got one of the most tactically gifted managers in football. The one manager in world football who doesn't just want control, he demands it. The one manager who went an entire Bundesliga season without losing a single match. The one manager who broke Bayern Munich's 11-year title streak with a squad that cost less than one Jude Bellingham. And this time, Chelsea gave him everything: voice, vote, control, full power in the transfer market. But before that, how did Xabi Alonso go from coaching a struggling team in Germany to becoming the most wanted man in European football? When Alonso took over Bayer Leverkusen in October 2022, the team was 17th in the Bundesliga. 17th! But in the shortest amount of time possible, he changed everything. Tactically, he wasn't copying anyone. He created his own system, a fluid 3-4-2-1 that looked like a 3-2-5 in possession, with fullbacks tucking into midfield, wingers stretching the pitch. His system was so simple and effective that it made Bayer Leverkusen into one of the best teams in Europe. By the end of that first season, they went from 17th to a top 6 finish. And the next year, Alonso cooked even harder. Unbeaten Bundesliga season, 28 wins, 6 draws, 0 defeats, broke Bayern's 11-year title streak, won the DFB Pokal, made it to a European final, 114 goals scored, a machine built to attack, press, circulate and punish, all with a squad that most clubs wouldn't even look at twice. In 2010, Jose Mourinho made a prediction that would prove to be prophetic.
Xabi Alonso, his father was a manager, so he grew up similar to me. His position on the pitch and his knowledge of the game very high. He played in Spain, in England and in Germany, and he was coached by Guardiola, by myself, by Ancelotti, by Benitez. So I think if you put all this together, I think Xabi has conditions to be a very good coach.
Even before Mourinho, one could tell Alonso was heading that way. He was such an intelligent player who read the game so beautifully. He captained Real Sociedad at the age of 20, which helped revitalize that team. Xabi Alonso didn't only play football. He was coached by the greatest coaches in football history. I'm talking about Mourinho, Guardiola, Benitez, Vicente Del Bosque, and Carlo Ancelotti. Fast forward to Real Madrid, that prediction has proven true. Many assumed his time at Real Madrid failed, but here's what people forgot about Alonso's time there. In 34 matches, he won 24, drew 4, and lost only 6. Those numbers were nearly identical to Hansi Flick's first season at Barcelona. He beat Barcelona at the Bernabeu 2-1. At one point, he had 13 wins in 14 matches. When he was sacked, Real Madrid were only 4 points behind Barcelona in La Liga. Tactically, Madrid looked better under Alonso than they had in years. There was structure, there was a plan, there was finally an answer to how Mbappe, Vinicius, and Bellingham were supposed to coexist. Xabi Alonso's successful style of play is a perfect blend of Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp's tactics. Alonso's tactical approach at Leverkusen was a fascinating evolution. He made a huge shift from the 4-4-2 formation he inherited to a 3-4-2-1 formation. Though it looked like an offensive formation, the idea was to pack the midfield with bodies. This means that when they attack, it is overwhelming, and when they defend, it is suffocating for the opponent. But what sets his tactics apart is the flexibility of the 3-4-2-1 framework. When off the ball, Alonso's team quickly adopts a formation with every player closely attached to form a narrow block. Wingbacks play a pivotal role in this setup, opening up passing lanes for their midfielders. Speaking of the midfield, Alonso's impact is most apparent here. Being a midfielder himself, he has many things to impart to his players from his wealth of knowledge. His system allows for variations, with either 2 defensive midfielders and a number 10, or 2 central midfielders flanked by 2 wingers. Madrid were a formidable side under Xabi, but here's what killed it: the egos. Real Madrid didn't sack Xabi Alonso because he was failing. They sacked him because the players didn't want to be coached. And that's the difference with Chelsea. Historically, Chelsea have always had a culture of the manager first, from Mourinho to Conte to Tuchel. When you're the Chelsea manager, the players fall in line. That's the expectation. At Chelsea, Xabi Alonso won't have players throwing tantrums or players' egos getting ahead of them. He'll have a young, hungry squad that actually wants to be coached. And we're already seeing the proof with the players. Xabi Alonso hasn't started a competitive match at Chelsea yet, but the signs are everywhere. Nicholas Jackson was frozen out for the longest time, couldn't get minutes, looked lost. Now he's back in the squad. Liam Delap is firing again. The physicality, the runs, the pressing, all back. João Pedro has scored 5 goals in pre-season alone. The Brazilian who people were writing off is suddenly looking like the striker Chelsea always needed. Cole Palmer is free-flowing again. Not overthinking, not forcing it, just creating chaos in the final third. And then there's the wings. On the right, Estevão Willian, Chelsea's diamond, scored in 3 straight Champions League games at 19. The kid who reminds people of a young Neymar. Under Alonso, he's about to become the next Florian Wirtz project. Then Pedro Neto. Pace, directness, goals. 10 goals and 8 assists last season, even in a difficult campaign. Then there is Morgan Rogers, whom we will get to shortly. Chelsea also have Giovanni Kenda, the young Portuguese winger who arrived this summer, 19 years old, already with senior experience, capable of playing wide or as a wingback. Exactly the kind of versatile profile Alonso loves. The options on each wing are ridiculous. In the midfield, it's even deeper. Moises Caicedo, the best ball winner in the Premier League, 436 recoveries last season. He's everywhere. Enzo Fernandez, back-to-back seasons with 20-plus goal contributions. The World Cup winner who keeps producing. And now, Chelsea added something they haven't had in years: experience. Jordan Henderson, 863 Premier League appearances worth of experience. A Champions League and Premier League winner who knows exactly what it takes to win trophies. They equally have 35-year-old Danny Welbeck. This isn't a squad with holes, this is a squad with options. Chelsea have been the biggest spenders in Europe for 3 years, but this summer, every single signing makes sense. Morgan Rogers, £117 million from Aston Villa, 23 years old, coming off the best season of his career, 21 goals in 85 Premier League appearances for Villa. Helped them win the Europa League, and was part of the England squad that finished 3rd at the World Cup. Chelsea beat Arsenal to sign him. He's the statement. Then they have Marco Palestra, £43 million from Atalanta, a 21-year-old Italy international wingback who's two-footed, pacey, and had a breakout loan season at Cagliari. He can play on either flank, exactly the kind of modern, athletic defender Alonso's system demands. His dribbling and ball-carrying ability fits perfectly with how Alonso wants his fullbacks to progress the ball. They also concluded the deal for Maxence Lacroix and Pep Chavarria, the Cucurella replacement. 28 years old from Rayo Vallecano, 125 La Liga appearances, played every minute of Rayo's run to the Conference League final last season. These are not panic buys. There is a system, and Xabi went to get the players who fit it. But how does all this come together? And why is this a problem for the Premier League? See, everything Xabi Alonso built at Leverkusen and Madrid, all that tactical clarity, all that structure, he's about to apply that to a squad that's already won trophies. Chelsea have the players. What they haven't had in a while is a real identity. Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo, a midfield triangle that can control games against anyone. Estevao, Rodgers, and an option of Kinder and Neto, wingers who can destroy fullbacks one-on-one. João Pedro, Nicholas Jackson, and Delap, strikers who are willing to press. But the problem has always been the same. No one was tying it all together. With Alonso, that changes. Xabi Alonso has implemented a fluid, adaptable 4-2-3-1 formation during his early pre-season matches at Chelsea Football Club, which dramatically shifts into a 3-4-3 or asymmetric back three shape in possession. His system is built for this squad. Reece James could become a third centre-back alongside Levi Colwill and Lacroix, but he could also be an inverted fullback tucking into midfield. Caicedo as the single pivot, winning everything. Enzo and Palmer floating in the half spaces, creating overloads. Up front, João Pedro pinning centre-backs. Estevao or any of the available wingers at the club stretching the pitch wide. Constant rotations, constant movement. Without the ball, they play a compact 5-2-2-1 that suffocates opponents. Wingbacks pressing fullbacks, midfielders closing passing lanes, and when they win it back, immediate transitions. Players sprinting forwards before the opposition can recover. That's what made Leverkusen so dangerous. Not the tactics, not the talent, it was how everyone understood what they were doing. Now imagine that same clarity with Chelsea's depth. That's a problem. For Arsenal, for Manchester City, or anyone with the hopes of doing anything in England next season. And in the words of Philipp Lahm, some say great players don't make great coaches, but Alonso can prove them wrong. It's early days, but all the signs point to Alonso being the best thing Chelsea have done in years, a manager who demands control, and finally gets it, a squad that's been waiting for direction, and finally has it, a system that broke Bayern's dominance, now arriving in the Premier League. Chelsea just got smarter, and the rest of England should be worried. If you enjoyed this one, check out these videos on your screen right now, and I'll see you there.